Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to English as a Second Language. I'm David, and I'm so glad you're here with me today. I always love starting these episodes by imagining where you might be listening from. Maybe you're walking to work. Maybe you're cooking dinner. Or maybe you're just sitting with a cup of coffee, taking some time to practice your English. Wherever you are, I'm really happy you chose to spend part of your day with me. Today's episode is part of our daily news series where we take interesting stories from around the world and break them down in simple, clear English. And let me tell you, today's topic is something that got a lot of people talking on social media recently. We're going to explore why Taylor Swift skipped her famous 4th of July party this year. Now, before we dive into this story, I want to let you know that we'll be learning some really useful vocabulary along the way. Words like star-studded, bash, and opting, these are the kind of words that native speakers use all the time, but they might not be in your textbook. Don't worry though, I'll explain everything as we go, and we'll review the most important vocabulary at the end of the episode. So get comfortable and let's start exploring this fascinating story about one of the world's biggest pop stars and why she decided to do something completely different this year. There's something really interesting about traditions, isn't there? We all have them. Maybe it's a family dinner every Sunday or watching a specific movie every Christmas. For Taylor Swift, one of her biggest traditions was throwing an absolutely incredible party every 4th of July at her beautiful home in Rhode Island. Picture this. Every year, for nearly a decade, Taylor Swift would invite dozens of celebrities, musicians, and friends to her stunning waterfront mansion. We're talking about people like Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, Martha Stewart, and so many other famous faces. The party would be this massive celebration with amazing food, live music, and of course, spectacular fireworks over the ocean. Social media would explode with photos and videos from these parties. Everyone would be wearing red, white, and blue, the colors of the American flag. There would be pool parties, beach games, and Taylor would often perform surprise songs for her guests. It became one of the most talked about celebrity events of the summer. But here's the thing that caught everyone's attention this year. Taylor Swift didn't have her party. For the first time in years, there were no photos of celebrities in patriotic outfits at a Rhode Island home, no Instagram stories of famous friends playing in the ocean, no videos of surprise performances. People started asking what happened to Taylor Swift's 4th of July party. Now, when I say star-studded, I'm talking about an event that's full of celebrities, full of famous people. Think of it like stars in the sky. When you have a star-studded event, it's like you have all these bright, shining celebrities in one place. Taylor's parties were always star-studded because she would invite so many famous friends. The word bash is another fun one. A bash is just a big party, usually a really fun and exciting one. It's more casual than saying celebration or event. You might hear someone say, "We're having a birthday bash this weekend." It just means a great party with lots of people having a good time. So why did Taylor skip her traditional star-studded bash this year? Well, according to reports from entertainment news sources, Taylor made a conscious choice to do something different. Instead of hosting a huge party with dozens of celebrities, she decided to have a quiet, private celebration. The word opting is really useful here. When you opt for something, it means you choose it, you decide to do it instead of other options. So Taylor opted for a quiet celebration instead of a big party. She had choices. She could have had the big party like always, or she could do something different. She opted for different. This decision tells us something really interesting about where Taylor Swift is in her life right now. Think about it. She's been in the public eye for almost 20 years. She's been touring constantly, dealing with massive crowds, living under the spotlight. Maybe, just maybe, she wanted to experience the 4th of July in a more peaceful way. There's also another factor to consider. Taylor Swift is currently in a relationship with Travis Kelce, the football player. Their relationship has been incredibly public, with cameras following them everywhere they go. Maybe they both wanted to have a holiday that was just for them, without the pressure of entertaining dozens of famous friends and dealing with all the social media tension that comes with it. When we talk about someone taking a relaxed approach to something, we mean they're being more casual about it, less formal, less stressed. It's like the difference between wearing a suit to dinner versus wearing your favorite comfortable clothes. Taylor seems to be taking a more relaxed approach to her personal life lately. This shift toward privacy is actually something we've seen with many celebrities recently. After years of sharing everything on social media, some famous people are choosing to keep more of their personal lives private. They're realizing that not every moment needs to be photographed and shared with the world. Let me paint a picture of what Taylor's quiet 4th of July might have looked like. Instead of coordinating outfits for dozens of friends, maybe she just threw on a comfortable red t-shirt. Instead of planning entertainment for a huge crowd, maybe she and Travis just grilled some burgers and watched fireworks from her backyard. Instead of posing for hundreds of photos, maybe they just enjoyed each other's company. There's something really beautiful about that, isn't there? Even someone as famous as Taylor Swift sometimes just wants to have a normal, quiet holiday like the rest of us. Now, this change didn't happen in a vacuum. The word signaling is important here. When someone signals something, they're giving a sign or indication about their feelings or intentions. Taylor's decision to skip the big party is signaling that she wants more privacy and normalcy in her personal life. Think about it from her perspective. She's been performing for huge crowds during her Eras tour, which is one of the biggest concert tours in history. She's been dealing with intense media attention about her relationship. She's been in the public eye constantly. Maybe having a quiet 4th of July was her way of signaling that she needs some balance in her life. The entertainment industry can be exhausting. Imagine having to be on all the time, having to look perfect, having to entertain people constantly. Even someone who loves performing and connecting with fans needs time to recharge and just be a regular person. This story also shows us how celebrity culture is changing. In the past, celebrities felt like they had to share everything with the public. Every party, every vacation, every moment had to be documented and shared. But now we're seeing more celebrities choosing to keep parts of their lives private. Social media played a huge role in making Taylor's 4th of July party so famous. People would share photos and videos, and fans all over the world would feel like they were part of the celebration. But social media can also be overwhelming. Maybe Taylor decided that this year she wanted to have a celebration that was just for her, not for the cameras. There's also something to be said about the pressure of hosting. When you're having a big party, you're responsible for making sure everyone has a good time. You have to plan the food, the entertainment, the decorations. You have to make sure all your guests are happy and comfortable. That's a lot of work, even when you have people to help you. By choosing a quiet celebration, Taylor removed all that pressure. She could just focus on enjoying the holiday without worrying about being a perfect hostess. She could relax and be herself without thinking about how everything would look on social media. This decision also shows maturity. When we're younger, we might think that bigger is always better, bigger parties, more friends, more excitement. But as we get older, we often realize that sometimes the most meaningful moments are the quiet ones. A simple dinner with someone you love can be more special than a huge party with hundreds of people. The word bash that I mentioned earlier, it's interesting how language reflects our attitudes, isn't it? We use fun, energetic words like bash for big parties, but we use gentler words like gathering or celebration for quieter events. Taylor's choice to have a quiet celebration instead of a bash shows that she's valuing peace over excitement right now. Now let's think about what this means for Taylor's fans. Some people might be disappointed that there weren't any photos from a big celebrity party to look at, but I think there's something inspiring about seeing someone choose what makes them happy instead of what people expect from them. Taylor Swift has always been someone who writes about her personal experiences in her music. She shared her heartbreaks, her friendships, her struggles, and her joys through her songs. But choosing to keep this 4th of July private shows that she's learning to create boundaries between her public and private life. The concept of boundaries is really important here. A boundary is like a line that you draw to protect yourself. It's saying, this part of my life is private, and I'm not going to share it with everyone. Creating healthy boundaries is something we all need to do, whether we're famous or not. For English learners, this story is interesting because it shows how language can be used to describe choices and changes in someone's life. We can talk about someone opting for one thing instead of another. We can describe events as star-studded or low-key. We can talk about someone signaling their intentions through their actions. It's also a great example of how celebrity culture and social media influence the way we think about celebrations and privacy. Even if you're not interested in Taylor Swift specifically, this story touches on themes that are relevant to all of us in the digital age. Think about your own life for a moment. Do you feel pressure to share your celebrations on social media? Do you sometimes choose to do things differently than people expect? These are questions that many people are asking themselves as social media becomes more and more present in our daily lives. The phrase more relaxed personal approach that I mentioned earlier is something we can all relate to. Maybe you've decided to have a smaller birthday party instead of a big one. Maybe you've chosen to spend a holiday at home instead of traveling. These choices show that you're taking a more relaxed approach to your celebrations. There's also something beautiful about the idea that even the most famous people in the world sometimes just want to have a normal, quiet day. It reminds us that underneath all the fame and success, celebrities are still human beings with the same needs for rest, privacy, and simple pleasures that we all have. As we wrap up this story, I want to point out how this connects to broader themes in our culture. We're living in a time when people are starting to question whether we need to share everything online. We're seeing more conversations about the importance of mental health and taking breaks from social media. Taylor Swift's decision to skip her famous party might seem like a small thing, but it's actually part of a bigger conversation about how we balance our public and private lives. It's about choosing what makes us happy instead of what other people expect from us. Before we finish today, let me ask you a few questions to help you think about what we've discussed. First, what do you think star-studded means? And can you think of a star-studded event in your own country? Second, when someone is opting for something, what are they doing? Can you think of a time when you opted for something different than what people expected? Third, what do you think it means when someone is signaling something through their actions? How might Taylor's decision to have a quiet celebration signal her feelings about privacy? And finally, do you think celebrities should share their personal celebrations with the public, or do you think they have a right to keep some things private? What would you choose if you were in Taylor's position? These questions don't have right or wrong answers, but thinking about them can help you understand the story better and practice using the vocabulary we've learned today. I really hope you've enjoyed exploring this story with me today. It's fascinating how a simple decision, choosing to have a quiet celebration instead of a big party, can tell us so much about someone's values and priorities. The vocabulary we've covered today, words like star-studded, bash, opting, signaling, and relaxed approach, these are all words that you'll hear native speakers use regularly. They're the kind of words that can make your English sound more natural and fluent. But more than just vocabulary, I hope this story has given you something to think about. We live in a world where we're constantly connected, constantly sharing, constantly performing for others. Sometimes, like Taylor Swift, we all need to step back and choose what makes us truly happy, even if it's different from what people expect. Whether you're learning English to advance your career, to connect with friends, or just because you love languages, remember that every conversation, every story, every podcast episode is helping you grow. You're not just learning words and grammar, you're learning about culture, about human nature, about the world around us. Thank you so much for spending these 20 minutes with me today. I know there are so many things competing for your attention, and I'm truly grateful that you chose to practice your English with me. Keep listening, keep learning, and keep being curious about the world around you. Remember, every day is a chance to discover something new, whether it's a new English word, a new perspective, or a new way of thinking about familiar things. I'll see you next time for another episode of Daily News. Until then, take care of yourselves and remember, you're doing great with your English journey. Keep it up.